Hey everybody, and welcome back to 13 Rings and NFC East podcast. I'm your host Lucas with Mal, Maurice, and Earl. We are back with another week full of good content and exciting content. This time we're actually going to focus, and this is probably our last quote-unquote draft content for a while in terms of focus, but we're not going to focus on the draft. We're going to focus on undrafted free agents, right?
Yeah, I
So,
can't believe how quick it went, guys.
yeah, it definitely went
Yes.
by very quick. This week went by very quick, it felt like, honestly. So, with that being said, we're going to start with Maurice here. Because the Eagles, despite making a lot of in-draft trades, they did make some moves after the draft too, right, Maurice?
Yes, they did. Some of that I'll hold on to the next segment, but you can talk about the Eagles' undrafted free agents. Now, we only signed 7 undrafted free agents, but I'll go through the list, but I do want to highlight 3 of them. So they picked up Gottlieb Ayaze. I hope I'm saying that right.
We're
Tackle from
probably going to butcher several of our guys'
yes,
names.
I think
yes,
it's a
we are.
Yazi.
I
Is
know
there
I'm going to butcher a couple of mine.
Ayedze? So Gottlieb Ayaze. That's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna stick with that.
Cool.
Tackle from Maryland. Tight end McCallan Castles. That's a pretty cool name. I like that, Castles. Tight end from Tennessee. Tackle Ayim De Conway. Dankway. I'm gonna say Dankway.
You know,
That's what
you probably did a much better job than I would have.
I'm going. So I'm gonna go. That's my final answer. Amin Dankway. Tackle from Howard. Running back, Kendall Milton. That's the easy name. From Georgia. Then he's an international player, and I'm going to highlight him. Offensive lineman, Lincoln Yakali. Defensive lineman, Gabe Hall from Baylor. Safety, Andre Sam from LSU. And cornerback, Sean Stevens from Ferris State. Now, I do want to highlight 3 players, and one of them is Amin Dankway. Um, this dude is huge.
How big is he?
6'8", 355.
Whoa!
That is a big man.
That's a monster
Yeah.
right there. Mountain.
He's a tackle from Howard. They say he can play either side of the line, left tackle or right tackle. Um, Played 34 games last season. 34 games in his career with Howard. 10 sacks allowed, 7 hits allowed, 39 hurries allowed. This dude is huge. He has one of the largest wingspans in the draft when it comes to measurables. Um, I foresee him being a project like any of these draftees is, but I do think because the Eagles need some depth at the offensive line, he has a high chance of at least getting to training camp. Now, with all of these unsigned free agents, the chances of them getting to training camp is slim. You have to really impress somebody in these mini camps, these rookie camps, and basically you have to knock someone out off the at that point 90-man roster. But it's still an uphill climb for any of these undrafted free agents. Real quick, I'm gonna go to Gabe Hall. This is the one I like the most.
He's the one from Baylor, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think I remember seeing him last year. He's a good corner, right? Corner?
no, defensive lineman.
Oh, defense. Hang on, I'm trying. Okay, explain him. Maybe I'll remember him.
Interior defensive lineman. He was the 160th ranked player going into the draft, and he went undrafted. So, I would consider this the Eagles' #1 unsigned draft pick, if that is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
6'6", 290, out of Baylor. He played 48 games. He started 32, 39 solo tackles, 38 assisted tackles, and 12 sacks. I truly believe out of all of these guys of the 7 that's unsigned, that was a signed draft pick, I think he's the one that has the opportunity to actually make the roster. I think he's that talented. I think this is a good find by Howie Roseman. I like this pick a lot. I like this draft pick, unsigned draft pick a lot. And real quick, one more guy I want to highlight, and he is the international player, Lincoln Vicali. Lincoln Vicali. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. 6'5", 318. He's 21 years old. Now he's a rugby player, but coming from Australia, we have a guy who, you know, turned out to be fairly pretty good. Um, our right tackle, excuse me, our left tackle, Jordan Malata, who was also from Australia, who it took a couple of years to develop, but he developed, and he's really good. One of the highest paid left tackles in football now. So this is a signee that uh, you're not going to hear from him for maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. But at the age of 21, he has the potential, he has the skill set, he has the measurables. Um, he looks like, from what I've seen, he looks like he's very teachable. Our offensive line coach Jeff Stoutland has a really good project here on his hands, and I'm really interested to see his development over the next couple seasons. But if they can hit on another offensive lineman from Australia who has a background in rugby, hey, I'm all for it. So I like our unsigned draft picks. These are just guys who are going to push other starters and other bench players this off season in the summer. And no, I'm very interested to see the battles that these unsigned draft picks can produce against our regular players, our regular signed players going into the training camp. So that's what I got for our unsigned picks. So who's up next?
I believe, first off, just one thing. It sounds like you guys are focusing on the interior when it comes to undrafted free agents. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing. I noticed that too.
And size.
Yeah, size, definitely size.
Size is a big thing.
And not just, if we go back to Johnny Wilson, another big guy with size there too for you guys. But that being said, Earl's up next. Earl,
Yeah.
can I ask you something real quick without you getting mad?
What's up?
Did you guys sign an undrafted running back?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Tell us who he is, along with everybody else.
Cool. I got him down on the list. Dallas ended up looking to sign 12 rookie free agents following the draft. They expect to sign their contracts Thursday before Friday start a rookie minicamp. The list goes off with Nathaniel Pete, running back from Missouri. I'm going to highlight maybe 3 to 4 players out of the 12. The next player was Cam Johnson, wide receiver from Northwestern. Next was another receiver, Corey Crooms from Minnesota. One of my top highlights, tight end Brevin Spanford, tight end from Minnesota, as well as Alec Holler, tight end from UCF. Next, we have Byron Vaughns from Baylor, defensive end. We have Denzel Jackson from Illinois, defensive tackle. Then we have Jason Johnson from UCF, linebacker. And then we have Brock Bogenson from South Dakota, linebacker. Then another player is Amani Johnson from Nevada, safety. Julius Wood from East Carolina, safety. And Josh DeBerry from Texas A&M, which is also a safety. The players that I'm going to highlight, I technically pretty much have information on all the players. I forgot one undrafted signee, Colby Suits, quarterback from Houston Christian. He's basically a 6-year senior with the Dallas QB room pretty much being loaded. He's more than likely going to make the practice squad because I think they might move on from Cooper Rush, possibly, especially with his contract. The next player is Nathaniel Pete, I really like his speed game. He could definitely be a game changer. In the 40 time at the combine, he ran a 4.37, and that's top speed. I feel like the running back room for Dallas definitely needs a change of pace with Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott, and maybe sprinkle in Deuce Vaughn and Nathaniel Pete. So more than likely, he will probably be a practice squad guy, or he might be able to make the running back room and probably kick Malik Davis out. But only time will tell with that. The next player is Brevin Spanford from Minnesota. This guy has range. He's especially a big time tight end who has incredible run blocking ability. He has size and speed where he also could be a good option on the receiving end, but his main bread and butter is being a blocker. This this tight end is 6'7", 270 pounds.
Ooh,
And
big
from
fella.
Yeah. So basically, the premise of what Dallas did in the draft is beefing up the interior and playing, want to get down and play some physical football. So I'm really excited to see what he does, especially make room in this tight end room. I believe Lyndon Wells, the tight ends coach, is going to really work with him on getting him better as a pass catcher. But having his blocking ability is definitely going to be key, especially with Jake Ferguson being a tight end that is basically a pass catcher compared to his run blocking. We also have Luke Schoonmaker, who is also coming off a rookie season where he's better at run blocking, but he has receiver skills. But the tight end room is going to be really massive because we also get John Stevens back from after his ACL injury, and he's looking like he's on good pace to get things rolling. So this tight end room is going to be really heavy, and the uniqueness of it with receiving in as well as being a run blocker. That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see that. The next player I'm going to look at is Julius Woods, safety out of East Carolina. This guy, he's very aggressive at safety. He loves to be able to engage in the contact. He's a big hitter. And I know with Mike Zimmer and his type of guys back in the heyday, he had safeties that would be able to get down on the field and lay the wood on somebody. Pause. But with what Julius Woods can do, he can definitely make his way on the special teams and work his way onto the roster. I believe Jaron Curse is probably not going to be signed due to him being a free agent. And with the safety room being so heavy with Malik Hooker and Wanye Thomas, as well as Donovan Wilson, I believe two of those guys might get kicked off the team, but it's a strong possibility that they might go young, especially with some of these older guys on their contracts. So only time will tell with the list of guys that they did sign, that they're planning on signing tomorrow. Most of these guys I'm looking to compete against the guys that are already on the roster as well as other practice squad guys. So if they make that strong push, it's a possibility they can make the 53-man roster. But in the meantime, I see most of these guys being on the practice squad while seeing Brevin Spanford, Nathaniel Pete, and Julius Wood possibly making the 53-man roster.
All right. That's look, it sounds like you guys definitely diversified your position needs and you addressed the biggest one, which was running back. So kudos to
Oh,
you.
and I forgot about the defensive tackle Denzel Daxon. He's definitely a big guy in the middle, basically plug the gaps and let the linebackers run free. So Dallas really needs to address that coming up this offseason, leading into the preseason.
All right. Mal, you are up next. Did your Giants sign another undrafted West Virginia wide receiver to go with Bryce Ford Wheaton and David Stills?
We did not. David Stills is gone, but Bryce Ford Wheaton is officially back.
Where is David Stills now? I need
He's
to know
in the
this.
Broncos.
Oh, he's gonna be. He has to deal with bone. Oh, I feel sorry for him. Okay,
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. But
thanks, Earl.
the Giants had, I believe it was 9 UDFA signings, including Dante Miller, but we'll get to him later. So the first UDFA that we signed was Wyoming wide receiver Ayer Asante. The second one was West Florida wide receiver John Giles. The third UDFA was North Dakota State offensive lineman Jake Kubis. The fourth was Missouri offensive tackle Marcellus Johnson. Both of those were interior offensive linemen, so that's a big help because our guard position is really not looking good at the moment. Our next was UCLA defensive back Alex Johnson. Then we had Oregon defensive tackle Casey Rogers. LSU edge Ovi Ugawafo.
That is a mouthful.
Yeah, I don't know if I got that right, but I'll learn the pronunciation of that. And then we had Rutgers kicker Jude McTamney. And then USC running back Dante Miller. Now there's 3 players that I do want to highlight here. The first being Dante Miller, because I think that is such a weird but cool story. I find it, so we actually signed him before the draft because he was ineligible for the 2023 college football season after the deadline to declare for the 2023 NFL draft. So he had became a NFL free agent for the last year and wasn't part of the 2024 draft class. So he wasn't officially drafted. Really strange, but super athletic, super quick. I'm excited to see what he can do moving forward. I hope he becomes, I think the Giants are more so going to detract to a running back by committee. I don't think there's going to be one specific guy there will be one specific guy that we rely on, but I think we're going to use more backs than I'm expecting at the moment, which I agree with because I don't know how much Singletary can put up. We'll see though. The second one that I wanted to highlight was Rutgers kicker Jude McAdamy. He is a homegrown guy, played ball in New Jersey. Really cool because you guys obviously saw our kicker saga last year.
Yes.
Where everybody went down. Graham Gano obviously is healthy and he's going to be back, but it just didn't work out. We had Jamie Gillen taking kicks at some point. So having this young guy, hopefully maybe when Graham's done to take over, I like the signing. I am a big person on signing kickers and punters. I don't know why. I just think that if something happens to one of them, you're kind of in a really bad position. So I will never complain about signing an undrafted kicker. That's for sure.
It's always good to make sure it's covered.
Always, yeah. And especially, like I said, because last year was such a mess and you never realize that you're going to go through 4 kickers in 1 year. That's just absolutely
that's insane.
That's just absolutely insane.
That's insane. And that's why don't forget to sign as a kicker.
Yeah, literally. And every week was just like picking up a new kicker and like trying out kickers, like just terrible situation. So I just don't want to go through that again, so I'm totally fine with that signing. And then the third guy that I really was looking into that I really liked was interior offensive lineman Jake Kubis. He's 6'3", 308 pounds, and he was a 3-year starter at North Dakota State. Seemed like he is a very athletic interior offensive lineman who I think can push his way onto the practice squad. I'm not sure about being first team, but like I said, the guard position is really, really thin. And we need to start getting new guys to take reps there. So I like this signing a lot. And he plays with a big sense of urgency. Seems very flexible, works really well in space, did a nice job winning all of his reps. So I'm hoping that he can get in there competition-wise. I won't hold my breath on any of these guys because, like Maurice had mentioned earlier, most of these guys probably won't even make the team. But it's nice to see that there is some talent that potentially could fill up our depth a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And that's who I got for the Giants. So, Lucas, take us away for the Commanders.
Yeah, so the Commanders had, I believe, signed 11 undrafted free agents. A lot there. Before I get into that, let me go through each name. I'll break down them just a little bit, and then I'll highlight the ones that I'm into the most. So first one, and I like Mal and Maurice before me, I'm probably going to butcher most of these. Okay, so the first one is, and he is a cornerback from Colorado State. His name is Chigzai Anusium. I think that's how you say it. Anusium. Yeah. He's one of 2 players that actually got guaranteed money on their deal. So I suspect that he has a strong case of making the actual roster. Cornerback, look, he's not He doesn't. I don't. He definitely, in terms of breaking up passes, he definitely can do that. His one of his 2 senior seasons, he broke up, defended 9 passes. He has 18 career pass breakups in about.
Hey, Lucas, you said
Yes,
his name is Chigozie Anusium?
yes.
Got it.
Colorado State.
Okay, cool.
Only 1 career interception, but 18 pass defended. Played well against Colorado when they matched up this past year. Had 57 total tackles this year. So just a guy to keep a name on. He's one of the ones that I highlight. Like I said, he has guaranteed money according to Tom Pelissar of NFL.com. So just keep that in mind. He has a whopping 50,000 signing bonus plus 300K base salary guaranteed.
Okay, so they're actually investing in this one. This guy.
Yeah, according to Pelissaro, half the league wanted him after he went undrafted, and Washington paid up to lock him in. The next guy I'm going to talk about here is Austin Jones, running back from USC. He was part of that running back tandem. I don't think he's going to make the total roster. I mean, but if he is, it's going to be because of his pass catching skill. He's not the most prolific runner. I mean, he did share time with who was in the backfield for USC this past year. I can't remember his name, but I know that
It was Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah, so he shared time with him this past season, but he's very much a pass catcher. In 5 years of college ball, he had 105 receptions for 901 yards, 3 touchdowns receiving. He also had 2,333 rushing yards. I like I said, I don't think he's making the 53-man roster, probably practice squad guy, but he's definitely a guy that you can rely on third downs as a pass catcher. Next guy here, and I actually am interested in him a little bit more. He didn't get a scholarship until his senior season at Iowa State. His name is Ben Nickel. He started out as a wide receiver, turned into a defensive back, and it looks like just his senior season he had 40 total tackles, 3 pass defenses. But like I said, he seems more of an upside guy because he kind of just came out of nowhere. He didn't even play until his junior year at Iowa State, so that's just something to keep on. He's 6'1", 200 pounds. He's definitely in the same vein of Cooper DeJean. So we'll see what happens there. Next guy here, and this makes me happy that we signed. Now, I know I am going to butcher this guy's name. First name is David. Easy enough. Last name. And I'm going to spell it out for you guys because I don't even want to try to pronounce it. Maybe Earl can
I'm gonna try it.
NWAOGWUGWU.
Is it David Nwagwu?
I think so. Yeah, he played at Toledo.
Yes, I know.
You actually know who that is?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, he's an offensive lineman listed at 6'5", 310 pounds. Played at Temple, Rutgers, and Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know too much about it. Sounds like Earl knows. Anything you want to add, Earl? I just like the fact that we had an offensive lineman. I'm hoping with our lack of depth that maybe he makes the roster.
So far, what I could see from him, he had 32 appearances as well as 16 starts. One thing that he does really well is he's definitely that wall of protection. So
He's a good pass protector.
He's a good pass protector. You can get him on some running, being able to be a run blocker. He's got the good frame. He's just got to work more on his hands a little bit, especially his foot motions. But he's definitely a guy that can basically be someone solid to be able to create a wall for Jaden Daniels.
So okay, yeah, I'm hoping that he makes the roster just because we need offensive line depth. Is he more of a guard or a tackle?
I would see him as a tackle, but if you want to interchange him, you probably could. But I could see him do more of guard as well as tackle. So I mean, he's that interchangeable piece.
Okay. So then the next guy here, he's another defensive back, of course, because we love our defensive backs. Tyler Owens from Texas Tech. Had some highlight plays. I can definitely, like I said, not a big ball hog. Didn't even have that many passes defended, but he seems like a solid tackler. I don't expect much from him. He's 6'2", 204 pounds. Has good, he went to Texas, then Texas Tech, so he has good college pedigree. But I don't know. I'm not really feeling him. We'll see though. Next one here, and this is one that I actually really like. Norrell Pollard from Virginia Tech played all 5 years there. He is one. He definitely has that upfield. He can definitely push himself upfield and attack the upfield. For his college career, he had 22 tackles for losses and 12 sacks. Has 118 total tackles for his career.
Dan Quinn loves defensive tackles that can get upfield.
Oh yeah, no, this guy definitely can get upfield.
Gear up for a lot of
I can
pass
see
rushing.
him making. I can make him see getting the roster. He's 6 foot, 280 pounds. A little small, but still got a motor on him.
Pass rushing coming. Buckle up.
Yep. Next one, which if you are a Georgia fan, you might know this guy, Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint. Now, I was hearing about his name towards the end of the later rounds. He didn't get drafted. We got him. I'm okay with it. They're projecting him to be more of a special teams type guy, which I'm okay with. We'll see. We'll see. But look, I mean, he's a solid receiver. He's a good route runner. I see him more of a slot guy, honestly, if he does make the team. But I think he starts out on the practice squad. Who knows? I mean, our end of our wide receiver depth is not the best. So maybe he makes the squad. I don't know. Then our next guy here is another running back, Michael Wiley from Arizona. This guy, he's not too much of a pass catcher. I mean, he can definitely score if he gets the ball near the end zone, though. He's a touchdown machine. Between all-purpose touchdowns, he has 28 for his 5-year college career. Definitely had a bigger year his junior year versus his senior year. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe he was splitting touches with somebody. But his best season was his junior year, 771 yards on 113 attempts, which was an average of 66.8 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns, 349 yards, 3 touchdowns reception-wise. So like he was dominant. His junior year, but he definitely took a step back. We'll see what happens with him. I think our running back room is pretty solid. So like the gentleman before him, he's probably not making the final squad there, probably a practice squad guy. AJ Woods, defensive back, Pittsburgh. Now this guy seems like a Dan Quinn guy. He has 4 career interceptions. Pretty much after his freshman year, he recorded 1 interception per year. He has 25 career passes defended and 102 total tackles for his career. So maybe he makes the squad. He's a defensive back, so we definitely need help there. He's 5'10", 190 pounds. I believe he's a safety. So we need a little bit more safety help. So we'll see with there. And I saved the best 2 for last. First off, I think this guy has the best name. And he's actually one of the most versatile players that we signed here. His name is Colson Yankoff. He started out as Idaho's best quarterback to ever come out of the state. He is 6'4", 210, but he played quarterback, wide receiver, running back, and I believe they signed him as a tight end, according to their graphic. But I don't think he's going to play that much role on the offense. What I think he's going to do is special teams. Because on returns, his senior season, he had 16 returns for 334 yards, with an average of 20.9 per return on kickoff returns.
It sounds like y'all got a Taysom Hill.
And maybe we did. I don't know. Definitely, you know what? He might be in contention for best mustache of all these guys for sure. But no, in all seriousness, like I like the fact that we went out and got a guy that specializes in returns, especially with the new kickoff return rule. I think he's a good fit. We'll see what happens there. And then last, and yes, Mal, I did this on purpose. Certainly not least. Mal's favorite college quarterback.
Yes.
Sam Hartman will be wearing a Commanders jersey during the preseason.
I hate that, but I'm happy for him.
Well,
wow, you should get a Commander's jersey with Hartman up there.
No.
Well, here, actually, Mal, I have an interesting proposal for you.
Okay, what do you got for me?
Okay, so if the Commanders win against the Giants this season,
Okay.
you have to get a Hartman jersey, a Commanders Hartman jersey, and wear it for your profile picture for 1 month.
Oh,
If he makes the squad.
Okay,
All
all right.
Well,
So
he probably will, because here's an interesting fact here. You know how I said there were 2 undrafted rookies that got guaranteed money from the Commanders? Sam Hartman was the other one. He gets a $20,000 signing bonus and $225,000 base salary guaranteed.
Oh, he's staying. He's going to be on that team.
Okay, all right.
And on top of that, both Fromm and Driscoll do not have guaranteed money on their contracts with the Commanders.
Okay. So I like the bet. I think that's a good bet.
And here's the thing. Assuming that Bryce Ford Whedon is still on the Giants, if we lose and the Giants win that series, then I will get a Bryce Ford Whedon. Maybe not jersey. Maybe we don't do jerseys because jerseys are mad expensive. Maybe we can do like customized T-shirts.
Okay, yeah, we'll
with
shake
the name
on that.
and number on the back. Does that sound fair? That's a virtual handshake.
A virtual handshake. That's fine. We could document that.
So let's restate the bet so that Maurice has a good clip and that our fans understand what we are doing. If the Commanders win the Commanders Giants series this season, you have to buy a custom-made T-shirt, Commanders T-shirt with Hartman's name and number on the back, and wear it as your profile picture for a month. And if the Giants win, I have to do the same for Bryce Ford Whedon, if he is still on the roster or even on the practice squad. Fair enough?
Fair enough. You're on.
Deal.
It's a bet.
And if it is a bet. And if neither one or if one of them get kicked off the team, we will readjust the bet accordingly.
Sounds good to me, sir.
Sounds good to me. So anyway, getting back to Sam Hartman here, I looked at some highlights here. He's very much, and Mal, correct me if I'm wrong, he's very much a methodical passer in terms of like he likes to dissect the defense. He's much more of a short yard passer versus a deep threat passer.
Yes.
Is that fair to say? I've watched some film on him. And that's just kind of what I'm getting. Yards an attempt. He's about this past season he was at 8.9. Rating. Well, I mean percent. He's not the most accurate. He only had 2 seasons that he was above 60%.
No, and also keep this in mind. Notre Dame had a fantastic offensive line. So they had Joe Alt on the team. So he had a pristine left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot of time to throw the ball most times. Especially last year, like when we played USC, that offensive line just did really, really well. So as long as the offensive line can protect Sam Hartman, he can get done what you need him to get done. And he relies heavily on his passing threats. And Mitch Evans, his tight end, was his big passing threat last year. So, you guys have Scary Terry. And you got a lot of guys coming in that could really help him if need be. I know that Jaden Daniels is going to be QB1. But if Sam does make the team and does become a backup of some sort and does need to play at one time, as long as he's protected and has his threats, he's not a bad quarterback. He is.
Look, I think he's going to be a part of the future here. Kind of reminds me, of a lesser version of maybe Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Look, he's we got Marcus Mariota for a reason, but Marcus Mariota has proven over his career not to be the healthiest. And the fact that he has that much guaranteed money on his contract most likely means he's going to make that 53-man roster, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having a backup plan. It worked out well last time that we drafted a quarterback second overall, so I'm okay with that. No problem at all. Yeah, look, he needs some time to develop. I know he's older, but still give him some time to develop. He's solid height, 6'1", 208. So yeah, we'll just see. Most likely he's going to be third string most of this year, so not a big deal. So yeah, the guys that I'm looking here is of course Chig. I can't say his name now. Chigzai and
Chigozie Anusium.
Chignosia, Newsium, Sam Hartman because they have guaranteed money. I also like David Nawu. I can't say that name. Nawu. Is that how you say that? His name?
Nuwagu.
Okay. I'm looking at him. Norvell Pollard, Marcus Rosemary, Jack Saint, and Colson Yankoff. Those are guys that I'm thinking that might be able to make a roster spot at some point during the season.
You definitely got to get the last person's jersey.
You know what? If he scores a touchdown, I just might.
Bet.
It's not a bet. I'm saying I might. Jerseys are
maybe not even a jersey, like a t-shirt jersey.
Like a t-shirt.
I wouldn't mind getting
a jersey.
A jersey.
Well, that's what it's called.
I like
jersey. Yeah.
But he's got to at least get a touchdown in the preseason.
Yeah. Well, the regular season.
Okay.
And it has to be on a kickoff return or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a reach.
Counts.
Any touchdown counts. Yeah.
So, Lucas, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yes, go for it.
If you go to the Commanders game and Earl goes with you, can y'all please buy him a Yankoff jersey and give it to Major Tuddy?
Yes.
You know what? I actually might do that. And Lucas can take a picture with Major Tuddy, his best
I'll
friend.
wear the Yankoff jersey while taking the picture with Major Tuddy.
I love it.
Your best friend.
Now let's not go that far.
Oh, come on. You talk about it all the time. You're just like
you
Major
talk
Tuddy.
about it all the time, sir.
You're like SpongeBob and Patrick. Best friends.
Is this the Krusty Krab? No, this is Patrick. Anyway, that being said, I think it's time for us to get to our next portion, which I apologize. I definitely hijacked that one. Sorry, guys.
You sure did, sir. It's all good.
We all get one that we hijacked. That was mine.
Yeah.
We all get one.
And good luck to all of the unsigned free agents.
Absolutely.
Yes, for real.
Good luck to them.
Make your moment count. Y'all got this.
Yes. That being said, I believe, Earl, you're in charge of this next one.
Yes, sir. The next segment we're doing is NFC East team news, as well as an open discussion. We're going to kickstart this with Maurice. Do you have any NFC East team news for the Eagles?
Oh, yeah. This signing happened last week, but we didn't get to it. The Eagles signed Mekhi Becton.
I'm so mad about that. I wanted him.
Oh, really? He did?
Yeah, I'd be willing to give him a shot.
Well, I mean, he's going to be a dead piece to start off. I'm actually hearing they might see if he could play guard. I keep mentioning the fact that the Eagles are looking for a permanent starter at right guard. Apparently, they're really high on Tyler Steen. Now, I've not been really high on him, but they do. They see him more than I do, so I'm going to trust them on that. But the Eagles did sign Mekhi Becton to a one-year deal. Now, I didn't realize this. He was drafted in 2020.
Yeah.
That's not that long ago.
No.
He was also a first-round pick.
Yes,
he was a lottery pick, wasn't he?
Well, a lottery. Well, you get
not
you got
lot. Sorry, basketball brain. He was a high first-round pick, wasn't he?
He was a high first-round pick. He was 11th overall.
Yeah, lottery.
By the Jets.
Like I said.
Yeah, so 6'7". The last weight they have him at is 364.
Mekhi Becton is a big dude.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah,
big fella.
He looks like Michael Orr.
I don't know if he could.
Huge.
He could be the blind side.
I don't foresee him being a guard. I mean, that's a big guard.
I think he'll be a tackle.
Well, he's going to either back up Lane Johnson or Jordan Mailata. I'm cool with the depth. I'm completely fine with the depth. We'll see what happens with right guard. That's something we'll talk about when training camp comes around. And real quick, the Eagles also signed. I didn't know he was retired, but They signed to a tryout John Ross.
The wide receiver?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
John Ross.
I
Yeah.
remember him. He hasn't played in like 2 years though.
I think he took a year off. From the reports that I've seen researching this, they said he retired and he came back. But with that said, he took a year off. I mean, remember John Ross? I mean, he ran a 4.2. The dude had speed. It's everything else that didn't make him a really good wide
I was
receiver.
about to say he was in Detroit when Detroit was Detroiting.
Yeah, yeah, and he was drafted by the Bengals
Yep.
pretty high, and it hasn't worked out for him so far. But he's here for a tryout. We don't know as of this recording how that tryout went. Is he going to make the team or anything like that? But I wish him luck. You can't teach speed, and he has a lot of it. So good luck to him.
Yeah. Y'all about to buckle up into a passing scheme with
If I was,
Kellen Moore.
I just
So
think that
you got
if
to
you
stack
guys are
up on the
gonna,
receivers as much as you can for it as
Hmm.
well.
so Maurice, one thing that I'm kind of surprised is that you guys aren't bringing back Julio Jones. I kind of liked him as a locker room piece, and he did score for you guys at least once that I can remember.
Yeah, he did. I think it was the Bills game. He scored a touchdown. Um, I think his time has passed. I think,
Agreed. I think so
yeah,
too.
yeah. It was nice to have Julio
I,
on
I
the
just
team, but
I've always been a Julio fan.
yeah, but Father Time, man.
All the time, that's true. Fair enough. That
All
being
right.
said, sorry, go ahead, Earl.
Oh no, you're good. I'm gonna talk next about the Cowboys team news as well as an open discussion. I don't think I talked too much about it last week, but Dallas ended up signing Ezekiel Elliott to a 1 year deal.
Good for
Uh,
them.
yeah. I'm glad that he's back. But I also
Welcome
know,
home, Zeke.
yes, and y'all can't see it, but I actually have a Ezekiel Elliott pop figure on my desk.
Does it have a crop top on?
I wish it did, but it doesn't. It just pretty much just his full jersey and uniform. So
Ezekiel Elliott is the only player in the modern day that can get away with wearing a crop top.
facts. He did it at Ohio State and he did it in Dallas. But I'm happy to have him back. Like being that mentor piece as well as being there for the short yardage, especially in goal line situations. I feel like with the inexperience that Dallas had this past season, they were really missing Ezekiel Elliott because even though that he's going to be 29 coming up in the next couple of months, and he still has some juice to be able to get into the end zone, especially on short yardage, as well as third downs, maybe fourth downs. But he having them revamp the offensive line is really giving him a chance to be able to run behind this young, large, athletic line. And I think the physicality that he brings with it is going to help out the young guys in the running back room. So I'm excited to have him back. And hopefully, in his terms, he says that he has some unfinished business. And I feel like if he's going to be with Dak on their last year, they're going to try to finish this story like Cody Rhodes style. And with that, that's determination of going back to the basics, being able to stop the run as well as running the football. So only time will tell to see what will happen in that. The next news I
Hang on,
have,
hang on, Earl. One quick question.
what's up?
So signing Zeke Elliott, all in.
Signing their guys.
All in.
It's all in. All I know, look, they're playing out this contract. We'll see what happens. If it's the final run, go ahead and try to finish out your story, Cody Rhodes style.
All right.
The next news I have, they brought in wide receiver Zay Jones in for a tryout, and they released wide receiver Martavius Bryant
That
off
was
their
surprising.
roster. Yeah, the only way I could see that happening is that there's some strong interest in Zay Jones, and if they're able to sign Zay Jones, that would be a nice addition to add to the receiving core for Dak. And I have a fun fact. Zay Jones is actually the son of Cowboys former starting linebacker Robert Jones, who started for the Cowboys during the Super Bowl run in the 90s.
Huh.
Actually, one of the 24th pick in the trivia you have for the Cowboys.
Okay. That's cool. Good
I
look.
actually like that. I actually like that pickup a lot. Zay Jones caught 82 passes in 2022.
Yeah, he I think
Yeah.
he has skill. He wasn't healthy last year.
Yeah.
That might be a good little steal for you guys. But hey, look, if Martavius Bryant is available, look, I as a Commanders fan, I wouldn't mind that at all.
I wouldn't be surprised either because y'all guys can't really think of anybody to help your team except stealing guys
Earl.
from other teams. So
Okay,
Thieves.
Earl. Okay.
Go ahead, I can
okay.
see it.
You
Go ahead,
little
steal 'em.
salty. I understand.
Oh,
It
it's no
happens.
salt. I'm just saying, it's like if you can't get the job done, steal it from others.
Ooh,
Well, if you can't beat them.
join them.
Yeah.
That being said, Mal, unless Earl, do you have anything else?
Oh no, I digress. Mal, what team news you have for the Giants?
Yeah, so I got a few things. We did a few things actually. So first thing is that the Giants signed defensive back veteran corner David Long Jr. He spent last year with the Raiders, Packers, and Panthers, and in his first 4 seasons, he was a Ram, and he was a 3rd-round pick. He's a veteran addition to the cornerback room there. We needed it, especially with Adoree Jackson still out as a free agent. I don't think we're going to take him back. I think we would have done it so far if that would have happened. So we get that veteran that everyone's been screaming for. We'll see what he actually brings to the table, but a good depth signing nonetheless. And then the next thing that I thought was pretty interesting was the Giants claimed quarterback Nathan Rourke
Yeah,
off of waivers, which I think is really interesting. He came from the Patriots. I think he also played for the Jaguars, correct?
I'm not sure.
Pretty sure he played for the Jaguars, so that's another guy. So now we have 4 quarterbacks. We have Daniel Jones, but his health is up in the air. We have Drew Lock, we have Tommy DeVito, and we have Nathan Rourke. Out of those 4, I mean, Daniel Jones is obviously QB1. He'll be back when he's healthy.
Say it
I
now.
don't know. What am I going to say? What?
Say it. I know what you're gonna say. Say it.
Say what?
It's just like this is the end for Tommy Cutlets.
I think so. I think it's the end. I really do. I think it's the end for Tommy Cutlets.
Did he do it his way?
What do you mean?
No. It's a reference to Frank Sinatra. I did it my way.
He did it his way.
I know. I think in the end, Tommy Cutlets is most likely going to be cut. We'll see what happens, but I don't see why the Giants would pick another quarterback up if they didn't have a certain plan with it. Unless, they really don't think Daniel Jones is going to be back week 1. I still don't know, though. I think in the end, when Daniel Jones comes back, Tommy Cutlets' era may officially come to a close. It was a fun ride, everybody. Thank you for being on it.
You almost got a tattoo.
Yeah, he did. I did. I'm glad I didn't because I probably would have regretted that.
The question is, will now he sign? No, you can't. The Jets already have 3 quarterbacks that they're going to keep. Can't sign with the Jets.
No,
Where does he go?
with the Jets.
Where does he go?
I don't
Nobody
know.
knows.
Nobody knows. But in the end, we'll see what happens. But if you do go, Tommy, thanks for the memories. It was a fun ride, my guy. Always will appreciate you.
One more time. Thanks
Literally.
for the memories. Thanks.
UFL. I mean, you can go ahead.
Earl, do you even know that song?
Oh yeah, from Fall Out Boy.
Okay.
We know
I did not think you were a Fall
too.
Out Boy fan. Okay, fair enough.
Since I was a young teen when they first started out. Yeah.
Okay.
Fan since day 1, sir.
Okay. Just I gotta ask the questions.
No, I got you. I respect it.
How's the song go, Earl?
Oh, I'm done. That was a freebie.
That was a freebie. Listen to the playback.
Everybody gets one.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one more update for the Giants. So I thought this was actually just pretty cool. So the Giants are hiring old offensive lineman Chris Snee as a scout, which I think is really cool. It's nice to have him back. He was part of our offensive line for years and a big integral part of it. He spent the past 2 seasons as an analyst for Boston College, and then he was an O-line scout for the Jaguars. So it's good to have some homegrown talent looking into our O-line. Everyone knows we need it. So hopefully he brings a nice piece, and welcome home, Chris Nee. Happy to have you. And that's all I got for the Giants. So Lucas, if you want to let us know about the Commanders.
Yeah, first off, happy birthday to former Redskins great Russ Graham. Shout out to you.
Happy birthday.
After that, besides that, a few other things that I want to touch on here. First off, shout out to the Commanders for having one of the best May the 4th posters. Luke McCaffrey, a.k.a. Luke Skywalker, holding a green lightsaber in a poster that they posted on social media. Love that.
Would have been better if it was Major Tuddy holding the lightsaber.
No, it wouldn't have been. Don't you dare
been
say
great.
that.
Had that smile on his face. Shoot, I'm surprised he wasn't in the background.
No, you know what? He could be Darth Vader.
Nah, he could be Jar Jar Binks.
That's true. That's true. Anyway, besides that, we did sign linebacker Bo Bauer. Not too familiar with the guy, but I know that he's an NFL veteran, and I believe do you guys know what teams he's been on before?
Name's familiar. Give me 1 second.
There, I'll look it up real quick.
Oh, he's a Notre Dame.
Oh, there you go, Mal.
Yeah, he was with Seattle and
How
the
long ago was he
XFL.
with Notre Dame?
Doesn't look like he's actually played. Hang on, is he a undrafted free agent from like a previous year?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at because he was with Seattle at one point, and then he was in the XFL.
Yeah, looks.
All I know, he has long hair.
Yeah, so yeah, interesting little tidbit there. Don't know if he's going to make the team or not, but that's okay.
I could see him being the special teams guy for you guys.
Yeah, our special teams coordinator is from Seattle, so it makes sense. Besides that, really cool scenario. Not scenario. What's the word I'm looking for? Really cool situation happened. Terry McLaurin met up with minority owner Irvin Magic Johnson, had lunch with them. They talked football and his entrepreneur aspirations. It's cool to see Magic getting involved with the team, with a championship pedigree like he does. And it's good that, because the team's going younger and keeping true to a guy like Terry who's been with the team and now he's going to be 30, or if he's not already 30, he'll be there soon. That's good. I like that. Besides that, the only other thing that happened is that we released 3 players: linebacker Brandon Byer-Randall, cornerback D'Angelo Mandel, and defensive end Josh Pryor. I actually kind of like Josh Pryor. I was kind of surprised by that one, but overall, those are the main things that I wanted to talk about. We do not know what number Jaden McDaniels will have. I know that it's coming soon, I believe within the next week.
Probably could give him his college number.
Well, right now, our punter has that. So my suspicions is that Tressway and him are working out a deal. But we'll have to wait and see on that. But anyway, that's all I have. Let's get to
the mailbag.
Yeah.
I got a lot to answer today, guys.
You sure do.
Giants fans showed out.
Yeah, Maurice, go ahead, bring that down to us. Talk to us about it.
So this week's mailbag is brought to us by the New York Giants, Big Blue, and we have a couple. The G-Men, that's another one. So we got a couple questions here. Before we get to our questions, I want to shout out a couple people who responded on Twitter. Shout out the Independent Outsider. He had a question for us, and of course Darius Smith, who's a consistent replier to our social media. So
Darius is the man. We love Darius.
Yes. So Independent Outsider asked, What needs to happen for the running back by committee approach to be effective? Which running backs end up on the roster? Who goes to practice squad?
Wow, that's a good question. So I got to think about all the running backs we have on the roster at this point in time because we have done quite a bit there. So we have Devin Singletary. We still have Matt Breida, correct? I believe. Let me look up the Giants running back depth chart real quick because I don't know if Breida or Brightwell left.
I hadn't heard anything, but yeah,
Yeah.
but it's best to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, just so I can have a visual because this is an in-depth question. So, all right, okay. So for the depth chart, hold on, guys. Can you hear that banging in my background?
I don't hear banging, but I hear some type of whistling or breathing in the
Yeah.
background.
So it's my washing machine. Let me just turn it off real quick.
Okay,
He
now I can
wants
tell
to
it's the washing
Yeah.
machine.
Now you can hear, right?
Oh yeah.
I can hear now.
Okay, we're gonna turn that off.
Mal, if it
Looked
makes
like
you
it was-
feel
looked
better,
like it was
back on
brushing
my
his
old
teeth.
podcast, we always had I always got grief if I had my washer going, so
Yeah,
it's
well,
okay.
No, like it hit the spin cycle as you guys asked the first question. I was like, no. Okay, so let me start that over. Okay, so the Giants depth chart currently is Devin Singletary, Eric Gray, Tyrone Tracy Jr., Gary Brightwell, and we have Dante Miller, who was the UDFA that we signed. So, second part of the question was what, Maurice?
Which running backs end up on the roster? Who goes to practice squad?
Okay. So I think Gary Brightwell is going to be on the practice squad. I don't think he makes the roster. If I would say probably who ends up on the roster is going to be Devin Singletary, Eric Gray, and Dante Miller. That's who I think winds up on the roster. I think that Tyrone Tracy Jr. and Gary Brightwell will start on the practice squad. Obviously, I'm not waiting. I have to wait for training camp to see how these guys perform. But that's my final answer with that. The running back by committee, the only way that that's going to work is if each guy kind of diversifies their play a little bit. So Dante Miller has a lot of speed, whereas Devin Singletary has the experience, and Eric Gray has power. The problem is he has a little bit of a fumbling problem, which I think comes with time, and I think that he can wind up fixing that. But in the end, I do think the two major backs that are going to be for the Giants are going to be Dante Miller and Devin Singletary. I think those are the two guys that have to work together in order for the running back by committee to work. If we don't have, I don't think Eric Gray is really going to be a big piece into that, mainly because of his issues with ball security. I also think he needs to be able to read space a little bit better. And once he does that, I think he'll be able to kind of move up into there. But that's my final prediction for that question. You guys have any thoughts?
No, I think you probably hit it right on the head. Though I wouldn't be surprised if this what was Dante. What was the name of the undrafted guy?
Dante Miller.
You said that he was going to be one of the two.
I do think so.
I think here's a hot take for you guys. I think he's going to be your number one.
Really?
Based off of what I read off
Yeah.
his college stats.
I'm really high on him, and I'm going to be really upset if he doesn't work out. I'm not going to lie. So this is just me speaking it into existence.
Yeah, I figure I'll help you on that just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so and our second question comes from Darius Smith.
Okay.
He responds, "Hey all, who are your way too early guys for 2025?" So I'm guessing draft.
Oh, I don't even know. I mean,
You need a
Sanders.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I was just going to say that too. I mean, I'm going to be so honest with you guys. I haven't even gotten into the 2025 looking into the player prospects yet, especially the quarterbacks, because I know that class is not as deep as this year. But I think next year, definitely quarterback has to be talked about first. Shedeur Sanders, I love the kid. I'm just more so afraid of if you draft him, you draft Dion.
What's wrong with Dion?
You're being
Prime
honest, though.
time.
Listen,
Being honest.
You're being honest, and there's a lot of
I would look into Jalen Milroe from Alabama.
I don't know if I think he's a bust.
You think he's a bust?
I think so, because I saw him struggle really bad at the beginning of last year. And those are things that I could see him struggling with in the NFL too.
yeah, and
He did improve though.
I understand that. Here's a guy to keep in mind of, and I might just be doing my fandom thing here, but Garrett Green, dual threat quarterback, West Virginia, ranked top 10 at the end of last season.
Okay.
Good.
We got another WVU guy on the horizon.
I mean,
Mal,
look.
I got a quarterback for you for next year. I think would be a perfect fit.
Okay.
Carson Beck from Georgia.
Is this John Beck's son? Quarterback John Beck's son?
I'm not too sure. I do know he's 6'4", 220. He over the past this past season, he had over 3,941 yards. He had 117 rushing yards, 28 touchdowns.
Not bad. Here's another suggestion. You trade for Spencer Rattler.
No.
Get that out of here, Lucas.
Leave
that was last week.
Leave that away.
Leave that last week. Sir.
Not happening.
Okay, I'm done. But
If we
I
didn't
Shame.
we weren't going to trade for him.
I'm not apologizing. That was hilarious to me.
That was funny. But to go back to the original question, yes, no, I do think Shedeur Sanders would be a great quarterback prospect. I'm just worried about his family and I'm worried about his attitude. But like I said, nothing against Deion Sanders. He just likes to be very involved, and the Giants don't need anybody to be involved. We just need to win games.
But what if he decided to become head coach for you guys? Would that be okay then?
All right, let's not push it. I'm not
Okay.
that off of Dable yet. Yet. We'll give him another year before I can really make my judgment call. But yeah, no. Darius, to answer your question, it's got to be a quarterback. I just got to look into them more. So circle back with that on the next mailbag, and I'll have an even more definitive answer for you.
You guys got any questions?
I mean, we post. Me and Earl posted our question.
I had a question I wasn't able to post up there, but I think it would probably fit with what's going on.
Shoot.
I mean, yeah, we posted them on Twitter, yeah.
Mal, I know this isn't an immediate shot, but I'm just looking at how the Giants, how they are right now.
Okay.
Do you think Brian Dable misses Josh Allen?
Yeah.
I mean, I think almost any coordinator would.
Yeah, I think Dable thought that he could help Daniel Jones as much as he helped Josh Allen, but the problem is that like Daniel Jones and Josh Allen are not the same type of football player. Right. So that was never going to work. But yes, to answer your question, I think he definitely misses Josh Allen. I definitely would. Allen made it easier for him.
I actually have two questions. Both just came to my mind real quick. Mm-hmm. The first one is, as of right now, who's the best offensive player on the Giants?
Ooh.
As of right now? Are we talking rookies like and their potential, or like currently that I've seen play?
I think with what you have on paper right now.
Just your team roster as is now.
Yeah, anyone on the roster right now.
Andrew Thomas is probably our best offensive player.
Okay.
Actually is.
Okay.
Fair. I thought you were going to go with a skill player, but fair.
Yeah,
that actually adds into my
I thought you were going to say
second
Malik
question.
Neighbors.
I mean, Malik Neighbors probably will be, but I haven't seen him play with the Giants yet. So I'm just thinking off of who currently I've seen the past 2 years on the Giants offensively. I got to give it to Andrew Thomas.
Fair enough.
Hey, Maurice, I think that ties into my next question.
I would have said someone else, but now he's on another team.
So sad.
Mal.
Anyway.
You know that your feelings towards Saquon Barkley have the same salt contents as the Atlantic Ocean?
No, I'm not salty. I can't think of the word. I think the word is
disappointment.
Betrayal.
No, I don't know who that is anymore.
Betrayal.
Yeah, I don't know who that is anymore. I'm betrayed.
Deception.
Yeah, he hurt my
Disgrace.
feelings.
Earl,
Okay.
don't you dare. Don't you dare. I know what you're doing.
All I'm
Earl.
gonna say, he walked out of the place like
Yeah, he hurt my
exile.
feelings. He hurt my
Earl,
feelings.
Earl.
Disgrace.
I knew you were doing it. Those that don't know, Earl is singing Lion King 2 after what was his name?
Kovu.
Kovu was framed.
Yeah,
'Cause he
Simba
was
hit him
framed.
with that exile.
Mm-hmm.
And their daughter was like, no. And then
No.
they started hitting the hymns and everything, and that soul in the voices of the zebra and the giraffe. Even the hippo got into it too.
Oh my gosh! Well, how did we get here from the Giants?
Yeah, I
Hey,
brought up, the other guy on the other team, and that's
I mean, I
shall
know,
not
I
be
know.
named.
Anyway, my question, Mal, is why didn't you draft a quarterback this year?
because
you
for
guys
some reason Joe Shane just thinks that Daniel Jones is going to make a miraculous comeback.
No, I think he's hoping so that it saves his job.
That too, and I also don't think that the cards fell into the right area.
I mean, like, you guys could have gotten Jordan Travis before the Jets.
Yeah, but the Jets had more of an opportunity to kind of shop around where the Giants had holes to fill. That's a problem. The Jets
Or with your last pick, you could have gotten Sam Hartman.
Yeah, but hindsight's 2020. I don't think any.
I think looks better in burgundy and gold anyway.
We're not going to talk about that. He looks better in navy and yellow, and that's going to stay that way.
But we can talk about this. Mal, this was to my second question.
Uh-huh.
It's what will the Giants receiver room look like, and who will be the number 1 and number 2 receiver? And then also, do you think wide receiver Slayton will get a contract extension?
So I'll give both scenarios.
Okay.
If Slayton is re-signed, it's going to be wide receiver 1 Neighbors, wide receiver 2 Slayton, wide receiver 3 is going to be Wan'Dale Robinson. If Slayton doesn't re-sign, it's going to be Malik Neighbors number 1, Wan'Dale number 2, Hyatt number 3. That's both scenarios in my opinion. Do I think Slayton will get a contract extension? I don't think so. I think our wide receiver room at this point, if he wants to walk in, he and I will say this, I think Darius Slayton deserves to get paid more money. I just don't think the Giants should allocate that money right now in the state that we are.
That is fair.
Especially with the development of Wan'Dale and Hyatt looking promising last year. I think that he can go if he wants to.
The question is, are those two going to have the same
top end too?
By the way, those two have better chemistry with both Taylor and Tommy. Can those two still look good with Jones?
I would hope so. Dude's quarterback 1.
Yeah. One would hope.
If Neighbors is the number 1 receiver, he's going to make all those other guys look better.
Correct.
Yeah,
especially Hyatt.
Exactly.
Because it's going to open up a lot with coverage.
This is all a moot point if the offensive line can't keep Daniel Jones healthy, though.
Correct.
Yeah, that's true. And before we end this, I have one more question. And this is Giants mailbag, but this question is actually, I'm gonna send this question to Lucas because he's the guy in the middle of this one. So I'm gonna ask him, whose running back by committee is better right now, Giants or Cowboys?
Ooh. The depth is about the same. The question is, do I think Devin Singletary or Ezekiel Elliott is better? And Earl, this is no offense to you, but I think at this point in their careers, it's Devin Singletary. So I'm going to go with the Giants. Barely, though.
No, it's fair.
No.
It's fair.
It's fair.
Because
I do think that if Dallas were to sign maybe just one more running back with a little bit of talent, it would probably shift the edge to Dallas.
I mean, like, Dalvin Cook, why not give him a training camp look?
The Dalvin Cook experiment hasn't worked for 2 teams now. I don't think it's going to work for Cowboys.
And I could be a homer with this, but I'm riding with my running back room because I understand Zeke being short yardage, but the guy that could complement him, Deuce Vaughn, if Rico stays healthy, he's a dynamic guy that's explosive. And then on top of that, you got Malik Davis, who's also explosive. So the depth by committee, all they got to do is see which running back fits, and it's not going to be a single running back. It's going to be by committee, at least 3 of them. So I like the depth with what Dallas have compared to the Giants. But if you want to give the edge to the Giants just with Singletary, be my guest.
Fair enough. Okay, so Earl, it's that time.
Who's that football player time?
Yes, sir.
Hi ho diggity. The next segment is who's that football player? Dini, Lucas's favorite. This football player back in 1999 had recorded 80 receptions, over 1,000 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Do you guys know who that football player is?
It'd be helpful if we know which team he played for.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wait, what year was it? 1990?
1999.
99.
Party like it's 1999.
I know the answer, so I'll wait until you guys guess.
1990 Cowboys receiver.
1999.
99. Excuse me.
99.
Cowboys receiver. I'm going to go with Alvin Harper.
Oh no, he was released after the 94 season.
Oh wow, I'm way off. Okay.
Yeah, he signed with Tampa that year.
Maurice is still thinking of 1990.
I think I actually know who this is.
Who is it, Mel?
Is it, and forgive me if I butcher his name, I was barely alive at the time, but my grandma was a huge Dallas Cowboys fan and she always talks about him. Was
Respect.
it Ismail? Rocket Ismail?
Ishmael.
Yep.
His original name is Raheem Ishmael. Who's that football
that's
player?
correct.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Oh.
Mal.
Oh,
Mal coming
Good
in
job.
with the win.
good job, Mal.
With
Thanks,
a guy
Mal.
from the 90s. Mal was like maybe 2?
I was 3, but I just remember her talking. She would literally just talk about him all the time. And I was like, why are you like, she's like, I just really like his name. So I was thinking about it because I remember being like 5 years old. And I took a wild guess on that. So I'm proud of myself.
Earl, I have one question. Whenever he scored a touchdown, did Dallas's speakers start him playing Rocket Man?
Actually, no. But
They
I actually
should've.
have a nugget for Mal with this. Rocket, do you know which college he went to?
I have no idea. Was it Notre Dame?
Yep, it was Notre Dame.
Yeah, represent. I love him. I love it.
This
I
guy,
don't like he's a cowboy, but I love it.
hey, it's all good. I remember I was 8 during the time and being able to see him sign with Dallas because he was originally with another team. Dallas really needed that speed receiver opposite of Michael Irvin. And one game in particular that I remember was against the Commanders during that time. And it was like a back and forth game, and in overtime they did a scenic route for Rocket, and he was wide open in the middle of the field. Aikman just launched it, boom, touchdown. And from there, during that season, it was special for me because I really wanted to see a speed guy opposite of Michael Irvin because he was more of a possession receiver. And Rocket, he had top speed. He ran around like a 4.3, close to a 4.4. The guy, he played a very long time, and he's one Cowboy receiver that I really enjoyed watching growing up. So that concludes the Who's That Football Player?
Fair enough, which now we get to go back to even more Cowboys content with the poll question.
Yeah, so this week's poll question was, will Ezekiel Elliott be the starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys week 1? And both
Interesting.
on X, aka Twitter, and Facebook, it was an overwhelming response to yes. So most of the people who engaged think that Zeke will be running back 1 week 1. Earl, do you have a different take?
Now, before Earl answers that, I do want to say that some answered yes reluctantly because they said so in the comments.
Yes, that is true, but they still answered yes.
Yes.
So I'm interested to see what you have to say, Earl, with that.
I could see him start But I think with it being a running back by committee, I think whoever had the better performance through training camp as well as some reps in preseason will get the nod. I think for Zeke, just by the name, I think he will start week 1 just to get in the Jones's terminology ratings. That's the only way I could see for the starting. But if he does start out, I'm cool with it as long as it's not like a major role, because I feel like with what Dallas is doing right now, it's shifting from just having that main running back be the main guy. It's by committee now. And it would definitely give more reps for him, especially on goal line situations and short yardage duties, as well as he's one of the, I would say in the division, in the league, he's probably one of the best pass blockers, especially as a running back. Having that under his belt, then you can get Deuce Vaughn, Rico Dowdle, Hunter Luepke, and Malik Davis. The running back room is pretty much going to be a 3 or 4 man running group. But I think Ezekiel Elliott I believe he will be the starter in week 1. But just the determination of the season, I think he'll be more for short yardage gain and goal line situations.
I think some of that will be matchup dependent as well.
Hmm.
And on top of that, if I'm Ezekiel Elliott, I don't want to start every game. At his age, with the wear and tear, I would rather do what he's done with the Cowboys before, whether it be Tony Pollard or whoever else. Let them run the ball for the first 3 quarters. Then you bring in Zeke to hammer it in at the end, on the goal line possessions at the end of the fourth quarter, get you those yards to win a football game.
Right. I can see that too. I respect it. It's just for the situation. I really feel like with Ezekiel Elliott, he really wasn't the same after having his center, Travis Frederick, retire. But before that, he was racking up over 1,200 yards running through his first 3 to 4 seasons. But after that, and then when they started to change the offensive scheme, in my honest opinion, I feel like Kellen Moore killed Ezekiel Elliott's career with the whole passing scheme. It really diminished some of the years that he was there with the Cowboys. But if they're kicking it back to being more aggressive with running the football, playing some bully ball, that could work in Zeke's favor, but not as a long term plan during the season, more of like limited reps. So if they're going to have him doing 25 to 30 carries, they're stupid. They're crazy on it. They have interchangeable backs. And like you said, Maurice, in different matchups, they can interchange it. And that's where I see where it's going. But if they're going to have Ezekiel Elliott being a starter, it might hurt the team in what they're doing, but it also could give them a red zone threat when needed, especially in goal line situations. That's where I see Ezekiel Elliott. I'm seeing him with either 8 to 10 touches a game until if something miraculously happened to him getting more carries and it's working, then do it. But until that time comes, you limit his role, especially in the running back room.
And on that note, we're going to go ahead and go to team trivia. And I think this was a good question. Now, the question is, and this is Washington Commanders trivia question, which former Washington Commanders player, holds the single season record for total rushing yards?
I know that one.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait. So let me ask Maurice first. Maurice, who do you think it was? You're muted.
Repeat the question one more time, sorry.
Which former Washington Commanders player holds the single season record for most rushing yards?
The
For
singles.
Total rushing yards.
For their team?
For the team, for a single season. And yes, I'm, of course, referring to Redskins history too, not just Commanders.
All right. Super Bowl era, correct?
Super Bowl era, yeah.
Riggins?
Mal, who do you think?
I was actually going to say the same. I heard this stat on ESPN randomly the other day.
You are both incorrect.
Really?
Earl, tell them who it is.
It's Alfred Morris.
2012.
Really?
I
Yep,
wouldn't have
because
guessed
during
that.
that time, RG3's rookie season, when they had the pistol run pass option offense,
Oh yeah.
he actually led the league where he came close to 1,700 yards. He finished around 1,638 on rushing yards, and that led the league and the season for it.
Wait,
I think
Lucas,
he got the rushing MVP as well for that.
correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Riggins your all-time rushing leader, though?
Yes, he is.
Okay, that's probably why I thought that. Okay.
No. It's a fair guess. He had a couple of them. You know who also was up there in terms of best single season was actually Clint Portis too.
Yep.
Yeah, if he would have stayed there, then get traded.
Yeah, there were definitely some fans that figured this out, and then some fans that just said, "Oh well, if we're talking about just Washington Commanders, then Antonio."
No.
And I'm just like, no, we're not. That just I don't want to bust on our followers and our fans, but they're the same franchise.
And Lucas, when you asked me that,
you were stumped at first too.
I was stumped, but when I had said it, I was like, either I had said Alfred Morris or John Riggins. He had told me that I answered one of them correctly, so I had to think about it, and I actually coin flipped it.
Yeah,
I coin flipped it.
Only thing I heard about Alfred Morris is he fumbled a lot.
he fumbled towards the end of his tenure with the Commanders, but the first, he digressed like slowly each season. He got a little bit worse
when they changed RG3's scheme. Like, I feel like his rookie year was by far at a solid pace for him, but when they just after he had that injury and then they changed up what he normally does, the offense wasn't the same from it. That offense during that time, to be honest, and I don't like it, it was deadly, especially being able to have a quarterback that could run out of the backfield, same with a running back getting that many yards. No doubt in my mind, I think they would have gotten far, but it was just the determination of the quarterback's health at that time.
Yeah, I find it interesting that he played for 3 teams in this division: Washington, Dallas, and then his last season was with the Giants. Still had 55 carries that year, actually. He had. So let's see. You asked about fumbles. Yeah, he did struggle with fumbles. He had in his 4 seasons with the Commanders, he had 11 fumbles. Rookie season, he had 4. Sophomore season, 5. His third season, 2. His last season with the Commanders, 0.
Okay.
Yeah, he only had 2 more fumbles in a single season ever in 2018 with the 49ers. He made his way around. Yeah, he did not last long in DC though. That was kind of disappointing because I thought he might have been able to, catch some records, but his numbers went down. 1,600 first year, 1,200 second year, third year, 1,000. His last season was 750. Granted, his yards per carry went down each season too. So that's that. All right, I think unless we have, do we have anything else that we need to discuss today? The answer is no. Mal, I think is your turn for the outro.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for tuning in to our show this week. Please make sure that you subscribe to us on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Music, 13 Rings and NFC East podcasts. And please make sure you give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 13 Rings and NFC East podcasts. And please make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. We'd love to have you guys there. 13 Rings and NFC East podcasts. Thank you all again and have a great night.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Blessings.